Hello and welcome everyone. I think I am live. Welcome to Down to Earth with Cosmic Rebels. Let me see if I can invite Zachary. I never done this before, so give me a minute.
Hi!
Wait, give me 1 second. I have to adjust my screen again.
Hi!
Hello.
Hello!
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? We're doing
Good,
it!
good. This is so exciting.
I know, we're doing it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Give me a second to see if everything is okay here.
Hi! Hi, Lisa. Hi, Boo Boo. Hey, girl. Mwah.
Oh, yeah. We have an audience, Zachary. We have an
We
audience.
do. Oh,
So
yes.
let's first, for this first episode, let's first welcome everybody, tell them who we are, why we are doing the show, and yeah, let's go from there.
Sure. So I'm Zachary Michael, and I'm a conscious creation teacher, and I help guide empaths back to their energies so they can find their way to lead to the new earth.
Amazing. And for me, for everybody who doesn't know me, I am Kim. I am a consciousness coach, laser coach, and I am a neo-shamanic quantum healer. What else? I am a mom of 3, and yeah, that's it. So why are we doing the show, Zach?
So we came up with this idea.
Why did you say yes to me? So I
for
had the
me?
idea.
Oh, right. I said yes because I really want to be more visible, just in general, to connect more with people. And as an empath myself, and as a cosmic rebel, I've noticed that there really needs to be more talk about the realities that we go through and to be more relatable with each other as we're all kind of like doing this ascension game of life. And I said yes to this co-creation because me and Kim have been like connected forever, since like forever, and like we met on a spiritual like intensive, and ever since then I just have been feeling a strong connection to Kim, in the sense that we are two people on a journey, trying to figure stuff out. And I said yes because I resonate so much with Kim and her message and her vibe, and every time I see her, it reminds me how much beauty there is in this journey and how relatable it really is, even though, like, you know, there's all these different layers to it. And I really feel like it could bless everyone who watches us talk, because when me and Kim talk, like, we just move so much energy. And I just wanted to include people on the ride and have like aha moments together. And I'm not even sure if that even made any sense, but we're doing it. So yes.
Yeah, and so for me, I have been wanting to do something like this for a long time already, but I also wanted to find like a perfect match, you know. And I love to have like deeper conversations, like not superficial, shallow, and from a higher perspective, you know. And I think it can bring value to a lot of people. I also want to make this like an interactive thing. And yeah, me and Zach, we bounce off each other so good. We fight like crazy. And yeah, that is also because the last 4 years for me, no, the last almost 6 years for me, I have been a little bit isolated from the world. I got my baby in 2018, And I was so glad that I could like disconnect, and I really decided to stay home with her. And then 2020 happened, and I felt such a huge nudge and a sense of like, oh, now I know why I'm here, right? But that was it. That was all that I knew. Just had this feeling like, this is it. And yeah, so we had the lockdown and everything. And
Mhm.
since then, I have been home by myself. So I also want to do this show because I just want to talk with you
Me too.
and just flow, and let's see where this will bring us, and how we can also benefit other people, or like serve and help them, you know.
Yeah.
I had a few questions for you.
Okay, and I'm present to receive them and answer appropriately to the flow.
Okay, so we call this show Down to Earth with Cosmic Rebels. I want to ask you, why do you see yourself as a cosmic rebel?
So it's so
What does
funny.
that mean to you?
Right, that's a good question. So for me, I've had a hard time with the word rebel most of my life because I feel like other people have pinned the word rebel on me. Being someone who is very heart centered and very sensitive and kind of like does their own thing, like in my story and in my cultural context, was like very like rebellious. Like this idea of like having a desire and acting on that because I wanted it was like an act of like rebellion. And for me, the cosmic angle is that as an empath, most of my life, I didn't really realize that my intuitive gifts and my sensitivity were really codes to help anchor the new earth. So a lot of times when I would, in my social conditioning, would do things based off of desire and like this idea of wanting to act from my heart and what I knew intuitively was correct. Like I didn't have any context to like explain like this is like I'm leading with this crystalline pathway. I would just do things and people would judge me as rebellious. And it's funny because as I'm coming to this new place in my growth as a person, as a soul, as like someone who's stepping into leadership, I'm realizing that it's okay to own these like I used to spiritually bypass. So basically, I reclaim the rebel archetype because in a part of my journey, I definitely was very rebellious. And on a cosmic level, my rebellion, while it might have been seen as irritating or difficult, was actually my subconscious way of paving my own way forward. And um, I just really relate to the whole rebel journey of like, wanting something and feeling separate and going through struggle and feeling misunderstood. And rebels are they're very polarized archetypes and they're very misunderstood. Almost every rebel I've ever heard of, has some kind of like, there's like multiple layers to like their motives for why they're seen as rebellious. And like, one of the things that was coming up for me when I was channeling my answer for this before we got on the call was this idea of gathering pressure and power. This idea of like when you're a rebel, you feel this pressure. And what's seen as rebellion is actually this idea, the internal journey of reclaiming sovereignty. Like within every soldier, in every war, the war is happening in every individual soldier. That quote was really powerful for me off of a show I was watching once recently. And it's this idea that everybody who, I think of Star Wars too, like the rebellion, like this idea of like, every person in that rebellion, excuse me, as they're battling the Galactic Federation or whatever, is like this idea of like they just want to be free. And all this war that they're doing is the journey of finding the freedom in themselves from the overarching federation that owns the galaxy or whatever. And I just really relate to that journey of like the multidimensional journey of being human and also being lots of other things. And like learning how to like integrate that. So I guess that's my answer. Hope that made sense.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. Yeah, for me, why I see myself as a cosmic rebel, first of all, throughout my life, I never felt home on this planet. I always had a feeling like wanting to go back home, but I was like, why do I have this feeling? Why do I feel so weird and different than everybody else? So now I recently, or like a few years back, I understood, like, okay, planet Earth is not only the place
Yeah.
to call home, right? Um, and the rebel thing for me was, I always felt like a rebel. I always felt like I was fighting against something. And just like you said, it was like for freedom. It's the number one thing. And from a very young age, I was aware that the system or the society, and mostly the Western society that I was growing up in, to me was like, I saw so many things that was like not okay. And I understood that it was not supposed to be like this. Like everybody is supposed to be free and to live in abundance and freedom and joy and happiness, and not to live in a life where you feel a slave, right? And you are blocked and locked. And so I always felt like fighting against the system, but because I didn't really fully understand how the game is played on multiple levels, I was like rebelling, but I was only hurting myself. Because also, till recently, let's say, that system was like still so ruling everything. And it's only now, because everything is collapsing, that we start to feel this kind of freedom. Like, okay, now is the time for us to show ourselves and to be free and express 100% who we are. And yeah, so that is why I always felt like a rebel. But now the difference is, we can start to rebel, not from our ego, but from a higher perspective. And we have now the tools and the insight and the understanding, or the understanding, like how to truly rebel and make a difference and show others, be like a way shower or a light beacon for other people to show a new way of living. So yeah, that's why I am considering myself a rebel. So that's why I, down to earth, yeah, have been here many
There it
times
is.
because
Yeah.
I never liked it before. And it relates for me to on so many different kind of levels.
Love it. Yes.
What else?
What else?
Yeah.
Hmm. So for me, I feel like in this lifetime, I have a lot more cosmic awareness of like being a starseed and like not really being from this planet originally necessarily. Many of my incarnations on this planet, I chose to incarnate into places that were very enslaved by religion, and there was lots of like slave coding there. And I was dubbed as like a witch. What I didn't realize in those lifetimes for me personally was that like I just was a higher frequency being, like here to uplift the frequency. And it's been interesting to kind of get to know myself better in this lifetime and to make those multidimensional connections, because I've had a lot of difficult relationships with religious structures and all kinds of structures. And this idea that kind of being like this idea of reclaiming the rebel archetype, where it's like being a rebel in other lifetimes for me and other incarnations of myself was like a life or death thing. And this idea of like on the cosmic rebel scale, seeing that, you know, it's interesting to note how multidimensional everything is. And even like on like a 3D level, like even if these past lives are just things you're engaging with in your imagination, because I'm not sure if anyone else here resonates with that, but it's this idea that you exist in so many different positions at once, seeing all these different angles. And I really relate to this idea of what's coming up for me is this idea of being a rebel for a lot of different causes, but then coming back to freedom. Like that seems to be a big thing, like we both said, like this idea of like even if you take it galactic and you take it so big, and this idea of like there's aliens and they're existing different frequencies and different star systems and different dimensions. It's like the main thing here that we're all focusing on is freedom. And that really resonates with me a lot because it's very simple. And it is that like weird journey of going through this whole feeling of being enslaved just to realize that you chose to do it at a certain level, and then coming back into integrity with that version of yourself and realizing, oh yeah, I chose to go through all this crazy bibbity boppity boop, and there was actually freedom in me not feeling free. And like this idea that your freedom can never really be taken from you or silenced or broken,
Yeah.
even if you feel like you're losing your effing mind, like you're like like you're like, why is this happening? It's like it's on its way to becoming obvious to you. And that to me has been so encouraging on my journey, because that lack of freedom and like which I felt like perpetuated this idea that I was a rebel to begin with, was this idea that me acting with freedom made me a rebel, kind of came full circle to realizing that, you know, that multidimensional reality of us playing this game of life to understand all these different aspects, and then coming into a bigger version of what does freedom actually mean, you know, like, and that's beautiful on the planet right now, where so many people are able to access these frequencies in an aligned way, where we are in contact with beings that live in different dimensions, and that we are able to meet them in common meeting places and share ideas and actually ground their realities into ourselves to actually access more of who we really are. And to also dance in the multidimensional reality that we also, there's more than one dimension, and that, you know, being enlightened doesn't mean that we ascend through the clouds, never come back. Like we still deal with the flow. Because like for me, coming back down into the 3D worlds after, you know, becoming more integrated with these higher frequencies, it's like you kind of have to like, you kind of have to ride it out. And that's a big piece of why I come to this.
Dodging bullets.
Yes! That's a big reason why I come to this co-creation, because I'm like, you know, people need to see that there's a lot of bypassing in the community. I'm just going to say it, a lot of spiritual bypassing. And I want to model this idea that, you know, just because you're an ascended being doesn't mean you don't go through difficult things. And we don't, like, people are trying to, sometimes I feel like people in our community, and we all do it, I've done it before, we kind of try to subconsciously bypass the density, like the 3D density on our way up. And it's about integrating the 5D into that and then ascending, not like trying to leave our bodies and, you know, abandon it. And that's a big part of what I feel like I bring to this too, is this idea that we can trust our physical realities and we can create connections to bridge our higher frequency knowing, even when like things are difficult down here sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to reply to something you said
Oh,
before,
yes.
but I lost it.
Oh, it'll come.
Yeah, it was about the freedom, because exactly as long as we believe that we have to fight against something or someone, and we believe that they took away our freedom, is also giving our power away, because they can never take that. And freedom starts from within. And we have a few examples of that. Yeah, I don't remember the name of the person.
Oh, right. We were in a spiritual container, like a little a group for our business intensive, and we had met the person in that intensive from. We actually, well, okay, let me just reframe this. We were in an intensive that was inspired from being in another person's intensive. We met this person that was co-creating on a summit, and the person we met this person from was a very high, like a very successful entrepreneur in the spiritual space. And this person was, I don't know how to speak, I'll speak for myself, like was a reminder on the journey of like this idea that, you know, just because people are high frequency does not mean they're loving. And one thing that me and Kim had kind of come together in after that experience, we met that person. There was a beautiful thing that came out of it. We met another person that helped align us to our actual trajectories. But it's this idea that, you know, especially on this journey of ascension, like you're going to meet people that are going to be saying the same thing, but the resonance that they're vibrating with is very, very different. And we need to be very aware of this idea that sometimes it's very valuable to be a rebel, because I'm sure me and Kim, we brought a little bit of interesting frequency with this person because there was a drama that had happened, that we had all been participating in terms to understand ourselves more. And I'm not even sure if I'm explaining it very well, but it was kind of a surreal experience because it's funny you can't remember her name, because I can't remember her name either. I think I don't want to even say it because I was like, but it was a weird experience where we both reclaimed our sovereignty from this person, and this person that we had, you know, it was a business mentor, and this person had represented themselves as being high frequency, very, very high frequency, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Yet there was a key thing that I know we all came to agreement with, was that we were all feeling like we weren't good enough because this person was so high frequency, and it was getting kind of like into a guru, kind of culty. It had the beginnings of like a really toxic space. And this person, we learned together, and I feel like, I'm not really sure where that's going, but it's this idea that, you know, sometimes, because I think of the word rebel and this idea of rebuke, you know, like this idea of saying no, like I say no to that. And sometimes I know me and Kim are healing this idea of like saying no, it can be hard. And I can't think of anyone who understands that more than a rebel. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that went anywhere, but
You were like, what?
I'm all over the place, but what a channel. I mean, hope it made sense.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a whole journey. And just to know and to realize that everything starts from within us. And this is why I created the series, and I want to do this with you, because I think we can help a lot of other people. And I am sure that, for if I look at myself, I was thinking I am the only one who is like so isolated for the last couple of years. But in fact, it's not. And it was like a bit difficult for me also to reconnect with the world, because everything from my old world disappeared, because I shifted so much. So I could not even relate with that anymore. And they cannot relate with me anymore. And I stepped out of so many programming and game playing and drama and all of that lower stuff. And I really decided, like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to entertain it anymore. I'm not going to engage with it anymore. And I really want to shift my life, like how I want to live. And then you arrive in this void space. And I have been there for some time. And so I want to open this space that we are co-creating and showing to other people, like, you are not alone. Like, you know, we have been there too. And so I want to say to whoever is watching, if you feel the same way, if you resonate with being a cosmic rebel, if you resonate or you have a similar story, then just let us know. And we would love to hear from you guys. And I want to have like this, create this interactive space.
Yes.
And I am very curious where it's going to take us. So this was, yeah, the introduction of our intention and maybe a little bit of vision of what I'm holding for this. And Yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm so happy and grateful to do this with you.
Oh, same here. I love you so much. And the energy is
And just
high right.
to have like, yeah,
Yes.
and just to have like a weekly conversation with a person who is not my mom or my baby,
Same.
and who is on a, like a same kind of level, you know.
Mm, yes, I feel that.
Yeah. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh,
And
thank you.
let's go create this. And I'm so curious where it's going to take us. And
Mm.
yeah. Do you have like some kind of specific vision or intention for this?
I definitely think about healing a lot. And this idea that for me, healing is about this idea. It's more than just surviving. Healing gets to a place where eventually it's more about this idea of coming back into resonance with like your integrity and building your life from that. Just like Kim was talking about when she's in the liminal space, like we both are actually, where our lives are kind of transitioning into a new resonance, but that middle ground is still pretty like uncertain. And a big part of this co-creation for me definitely feels like letting things move and getting visible and getting on camera, even though I don't know about Kim, but I don't have any practice. And it's interesting to see how nervous I am because the flow is moving me and I'm not even sure, I'm not able to keep up with what I'm saying. And sometimes I talk and I just, la. But I just want to really be authentic and to let people see other people in the moment.
Come back
And
in,
yes, yes,
come back in the center.
yes. Mm.
It's a big thing if you have been in this void space, and you know when you somehow realize like, okay, I am now really co-creating and creating a whole new way of living and
Mm.
being, then all that old stuff needs to go, and it can only go by crumbling down and bringing to the light. And it's bringing all of the deeper layers of the fear and anxiety and limiting beliefs and all of that stuff. It's bringing that up, and I had to go through that as well. Like I was questioning myself, like, whoa, how come you feel like this now, you know? And I lost my cue. Yeah, so it's a big I'm sorry, so it's a big thing
Okay.
to show up like this, you know. And yeah, I'm proud of us.
I am too. We get to practice. This is so great.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said before, I'm really excited and I'm very curious where this is going to take us. And we will go by a different kind of topic every week.
Hmm.
And let's make it something interactive. Let's make it something that is valuable for other people, that is going to help them. I also wanna, maybe sometimes we can do like a meditation or something, you know,
Yeah, we could
if
do
people
that.
would do it for them.
Mm,
Like yeah,
I
let's
love
make it
that.
interactive,
Yeah.
and let's make it fun. I want to have it fun with a
Yeah.
lot of humor, because it can shift
Yes.
so many things as well.
Oh, I love that.
Was there anything else you would like to share?
I'm just grateful to be here and to practice being visible because I have a lot of fear about visibility. And this is a huge practice for me. And there's so much coming up and it's vulnerable. And I'm really glad to be in a space with someone who, with you, Kim, where we can just do it together and practice just getting our toes in the water and just being real together because I could not do it alone. And that's powerful for me.
And we shouldn't do it alone.
Yeah.
We are not supposed to do it alone, you know.
Yeah.
But it's important to do it with people who are supportive of you and us, and who lift each other up, you know, because it's been a lot, and I'm tired of that old stuff, and like the jealousy and trying to take each other down and being
Yeah.
better than somebody else, and the competition and the what's the word in English? The concurrence.
Conquering.
Yeah.
I think competition comes to mind for sure. Like the tension, maybe.
Mm.
There's a word you're looking for. I know what you're talking about, but I don't even know the word in English. It'll probably come to me later. I'm like, I'll probably find it and be like, oh, it's the word. Like,
Yeah, sometimes it's like not coming to my mind
or domination. Is that the
because
word you're looking for? Domination, like conquerance, domination.
yeah, for sure. I think the world we have been living in is like, yeah, you always have to be better than somebody else, or
Mm,
and show off, and yeah, so it's very important that we start to build communities with people who are like-minded and who want to also co-create like this new earth and this new way of living and
mm,
supporting and building each other up, and you know
yes. I love that. I feel that.
so yeah, I think this was good for today for
Yes,
the
we did it.
introduction.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
We
If you're
did.
watching now or watching whenever you're watching in the field, thank you for being here. That was that
Yeah.
was our first one. We did it. Yes.
So yeah, let's do it again next week, and I don't know yet which topic we will going to discuss
Yes.
or you want to talk about, or we
Yeah.
will see. We will see what comes up.
Yeah, it'll show up. I trust our flow.
Yeah, for
Thank
real.
you. Thank you,
Thank you so
guys.
much.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Love you
Bye.
too. Bye bye. I don't know. I don't know how to turn it off. Okay, let's go here.